as well.
All right, everybody, sorry for the delay. We're just waiting for Melissa. As soon as she gets back, we'll get started.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And while we're waiting, do we have, is Crystal Tapia on?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Crystal, we're gonna have you on in a moment.
Okay.
And then we also have Jay Montgomery. Is Jay on with us yet?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right, Jay. All right, so we have everybody but Melissa.
I'm sure she'll be hearing that.
Melissa
But
was
she
late
left her phone.
2 weeks ago.
I would have texted her. Well, you were late earlier, so.
I know, but this is the,
Well,
I'm only picking on Melissa because she's not here.
right. Oh, you gotta go
That's
to her.
Right.
That's true, too. So what am I?
Ladies.
We have numbers.
Throw something at me.
We have super.
Okay.
We have.
All right, we have everybody
Oh,
here.
thank you. Who gave you this?
We're gonna get
Thank
started.
you, Dominic. I usually try to bring some. I
okay.
should give it to you.
All right, welcome everyone to the regular business meeting of City Council here on Monday, August 9th, 2021. We're going to open this evening's meeting with the invitation by Crystal Tapia from Feet on the Street Ministry. And then we will shortly thereafter salute the flag. So welcome, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity. All right, I'm going to pray. All right, dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this moment, Lord. I just thank you for each person represented here at City Council, Lord. I ask that you would lead them with wisdom and lead them with strategy and give them strength, Lord, for each day that they work and they make decisions, God. I ask that you would lead them and guide them, Lord. And I ask for a hedge of protection over every household represented here tonight, Lord. I ask that you would wrap them in your arms and that they would feel your love, they will feel your wisdom, and they will feel your strategy, Lord. And that you will lead them in integrity and honesty, God, that you would lead them in righteousness and wholeness, God. And I ask that you will continue to protect them and guide them and give them the strategy they need, Lord. And I just ask that you would fill that place up tonight. Fill that place up with your spirit, fill that place up with your knowledge, fill that place up with your presence, Lord, that they would feel loved, encouraged, and filled with wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Everyone, we're going to now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If you give us just one moment, we're going to actually pull one up, I believe. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States
United States of America
Republic,
and to the republic
for
which
one nation,
stands
under God,
one nation under God,
liberty and
with
justice for all.
liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Peter Freitas,
Here.
Ms. Goodman Henderson, here, Mr. Marmaru,
here.
Ms. Reed,
Here.
Mr. Helmet, Ms. Ventura,
Here.
Mr. Walton Preston.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
All right, Lucine is excused this evening on some personal matters. We did have, no, there were no executive sessions conducted during or after the July 26th or August 2nd committee of the whole meetings. There are no proclamations this evening. We have nobody signed up for public comment, whether it's verbally or written comments. So we're going to move on to the approval of our agenda and minutes. Along with the approval of our agenda and minutes, the minutes will be from our July 26th regular meeting and approving the summations of discussion from the July 26th and August 2nd committee of the whole meetings and the August 2nd nomination committee meeting. As part of the approval, again, of our agenda and minutes is our consent agenda legislation. We have just one resolution this evening, and that is authorizing the purchase of 25 laptop computers for the Information Technology Division from CoStar's vendor SCW Computer Warehouse in the amount of $42,253.75. Is there any objection to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda items? If not, they stand as approved. We're going to move on to the administrative report and welcome the Honorable Abe Ambrose this evening for the report. Good evening, Abe.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, council members and members of the public as well, along with members of the administration. I'm going to give you our report. It's been quite busy. Mayor attended a news conference hosted by the Pennsylvania Agriculture Secretary Russ Redding on July 19th at the Goggle Works Center for the Arts. The press conference announced a $10,000 grant to Goggle Works to install gardens that will provide for food for local families, teach youth about agriculture, and provide them with hands-on opportunities. The mayor's office also attended a back-to-school COVID-19 vaccination event at Northwestern Middle School on July the 23rd, as well as Reading High School on July the 30th. These events were part of a collaborative effort on behalf of the city, Reading School District, Penn State Health, St. Joseph's. On July 23rd, the mayor attended the 2021 Fire Academy graduation ceremony held at the Doubletree Hotel, where he congratulated the graduates and provided certificates of recognition to recognize their accomplishments, and we welcome them into our family. The Community Development Department is preparing to receive Stantec's complete report summarizing its findings, recommendations, along with the proposed implementation process in mid-August. The administration will review Stantec's report first and prepare a presentation for council in September during a committee of the whole meeting. The department also worked with Desmond Design on the next phase of the comprehensive parking study, which included public engagements. 4 public meetings were scheduled. The first 2 were scheduled last week, August 3rd at 6 o'clock for the city's northwest area and August 4th for those in the city's northeast areas. The last 2 virtual meetings are scheduled for August the 10th, which is tomorrow at 6 o'clock for neighborhoods located in the southern area of the city, and on Wednesday the 11th at 6 o'clock for the downtown area. The Community Development Department also participated in a kickoff meeting with the Federal Office of Health and Human Services that awarded the city a grant to promote health awareness in minority communities. The city will collaborate with Penn State Health to develop a health awareness campaign promoting healthier lifestyles within minority communities that are being impacted negatively by COVID-19. The Finance Department Information Technology Division has completed the email server migration project, and the IT division expects a new website will be ready to stand up on cloud service within the next week or 2. The department is also installing new help desk software to help manage projects and tickets for users. This software will also allow for improved network monitoring with sites that are down and allow for better performance monitoring. The Finance Department Citizen Service Center continues to operate the Dropbox in the 8th Street lobby, where a substantial number of envelopes are collected from the Dropbox daily and shows that the service is convenient for customers. The department also continues cross-training on new hires to allow for coverage in 4 different customer service areas within the department. And lastly, under finance, the department staff continues to receive training in the new finance system. Under fire, the fire department 9th and Marion Street Station project held an on-site pre-bid meeting on August the 2nd, with proposals due on August the 24th. The fire department is hopeful to have a contract ready for council by September the 13th, with groundbreaking on August the 4th, fingers crossed. The department is currently testing 7 applicants for non-fire paramedic positions as well. Human Relations has been very busy with 992 total rent and utility assistance applications that were received. The process is working. We don't have a lot of backlog right now. In fact, the backlog has been addressed, and so we're just waiting for payments to be made in the near future. The library's executive director mentioned the strategic plan facilitator, where guests are circulating the podcast, and they were also asked to submit an article to the Library Journal on strategic planning post-COVID-19. The executive director, Bronwyn Gamble, completed a 7-hour training on creating inclusive policies for equity, diversion, and inclusion. I asked her about this on a periodic basis, and things seem to be working very well in terms of diverse communities materials and using them quite often. The public library also wishes to thank the Why I'm Missing Foundation for its $5,000 offer to reconcile patrons' lost and damaged fees in recognition of their fine-free pilot program. And I need to segue for a minute because I have a wonderful story to share with all of you. This comes from Bronwyn via Rachel Constantine, our Northeast branch manager. And one of our young patrons, an 11-year-old girl, came in, and she'd always been a regular patron who accrued some fines in late 2020, early 2021. And they hadn't seen her very often. So they knew it was most likely because she wasn't able to pay for her fines. She's a very sweet girl who likes to check out books for her younger brothers and always comes in to pick up Go packs for herself and for her little brothers. She'd come in a couple times in just the past few weeks to pick up Go packs, but in a specific day, she was able to tell the library about, or learn from the library about the Find Free initiative. And basically she said, this is perfect. We haven't had too much money and my brothers and my mom will be very happy. So she's always very careful with the materials that she checks out, always asks for a receipt with all the items. And I think it's just wonderful and just beautiful and so nice to be able to tell her that she could check out materials Find Free. So it's working even for our 11-year-old patrons. The public library's new glass-walled meeting room at the Southeast branch is close to completion. Technology is currently being installed and the project is set to be completed in the next few weeks. Under police, the department's multi-agency Operation Ceasefire conducted 28 details as of August the 2nd and involved 565 law enforcement officers from numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. The results were terrific. 48 warrants served, 44 misdemeanor arrests, 32 felony arrests, 188 firearms seized, and 201 home visits. Operation Ceasefire has also decreased non-fatal shootings by 36%, which has trended for the last 6 months. Vice investigations have initiated 223 cases and executed 47 search warrants, which have resulted in 54 arrests, 17 firearms seized, more than 20 pounds of various narcotics seized as well. And the United States Marshals Task Force efforts have resulted in 97 arrests of fugitives in the city or other jurisdictions that committed crimes in the city. And the U.S. Marshals Task Force continues to prioritize violent offenders. The police department also successfully completed another homeless outreach operation in collaboration with the Homeless Coalition. The outreach operation focused on reaching homeless persons in city parks and playgrounds. The latest outreach resulted in several individuals receiving medical assistance, temporary housing assistance, and referral to treatment programs. Kudos to them. The department has also hosted National Night Out last week, which was a tremendous success. All ages were very pleased with the event last week. And the Police Academy has moved from Alvernia's main campus to Alvernia University's Upland Center. The new location will provide more office and classroom space for the academy to utilize. Let's see, I think that concludes my report for now, except for one thing. I wanted to mention something for the benefit of council members and the public as well. We have just initiated an internal working group on special events permits. We're asking the public to please go on the website, follow the process so we don't double book parks or public spaces. We don't want people turned away because they did not file the necessary paperwork. The paperwork is not as complicated as it looks. It's an easy to follow step-by-step process. And if you have questions, call the number that's on the website. But what we don't want to do is duplicate times and turn anyone away. We want to get that process streamlined. The internal working group has met on several occasions. We have subsequent meetings that are programmed on a regular basis. What we want to make sure is that everybody understands the process as we move forward. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
All righty, thank you for the report. Any comments or questions? We'll start with Joanna.
I thank you so much for the report. On your comments about permits, so when a person needs a permit, they can apply and pay for it on the website?
Yes, so there's a procedure on the website that highlights everything and a phone number in case you need some information as well. Of course, what we're trying to do is streamline the process so an individual doesn't have to go to 5 departments because you need a business privilege license, you need a health license for vendors. It can be pretty intimidating and we want to eliminate that. And we want to make it more user-friendly, and we want to make it a one-stop shop. And the other thing that we did was we looked at surrounding municipalities as well and basically copied some of their best practices that are already working because some of them have streamlined processes in place as well. So we've had very good meetings, and we're just going to continue in that process. I just wanted to share that with the public as well.
Hey,
Go ahead, Stratton.
for special event permits, like over my church, it's special event for a bazaar. I can still come in with the paperwork to take care of it there?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes, whatever works for you, sir. Yes, whatever works for the end user.
Because you gotta bring a check in, so you want,
Yes, we
Thank
want to
you.
make sure that everything is paid for and everything's signed off properly before the permit is issued.
right.
Yeah, and I think another component of this, and certainly not double booking, that's very important. But another component of this is to make sure the permits are properly done because of city liability issues. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that when you have something on city land, there are liability issues involved with it. So it has to be across the board. So everybody's protected, they're protected, the city's protected. And sometimes people, I think, tend to forget about that.
Yes, indeed.
Marcia?
Yeah, and to follow up, because there isn't a presence at all of our public places, our parks and our playgrounds, I think people assume that they can use the facilities without necessarily asking for permission. And so I wonder how we best educate the public so they understand what the permitting process is, what the capacity is for each site, and you know how all of this is rolled out. And I know that just because I have a playground across the street from my house and the public uses it quite intensely. And, you know, I'm not sure they're always asking for permission to do it.
Yeah, and, just a final point, and it may already be out there, Abe, it's good that people can get the permits and use all the locations. It needs to be a good time too, to remind everybody that just because you get a permit doesn't mean you can break all the other laws in the city. I've had situations where people call me up and there's amplifiers out in the middle of the block and it's
I
11:30
get that
at
from Bear
night.
Park all the time.
Yeah.
It's 11:30 at night and people are setting fireworks. So just, most people don't do that, but the few that feel they get a permit and can now do whatever they want, need to be reminded that they can be shut down pretty quickly. So anything you can do to reemphasize
The
that.
school district, I know, posts a lot of signs because at the Glenside Playground near me, it's very clear about groups using things, so.
All right, additional comments, anyone on the managing director's report?
One last thing, regarding those virtual meetings related to parking. I feel like we should heavily advertise, maybe put links on Facebook,
Sure.
et cetera, so that people so we get higher attendance.
Certainly, we can do that. Yep.
Questions over there, Melissa?
No, or she's.
All right, Abe, thank you so much for the report. We're gonna move on to the auditor's report. We're gonna welcome Maria this evening, the city auditor, for her report. Good evening, Maria.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. The first item on my report is the cable franchise fees, and this is another also this July 31st, 2021. For this year, the city budgeted $125,000 revenue for the cable franchise fee. Due to the less revenue collected in previous year, $50,000 less was budgeted in 2021 compared to 2020 budget. For the first two quarters of the current year, the city collected $409,680.86 in revenue for this line item. The second line item is the user fees revenue as of June 30, 2021. For the current year, the city budgeted $3,009,500 for the user fee revenue line item. And as of June 30, 2021, the city collected $1.6 million or 56% of total amount budgeted. If this revenue continues this trend for the rest of this year, it could be expected that the city will exceed the budget target for this revenue line item in 2021. The third item is the rental parking authority. I just want to give an update on the revenue that the city have received according to the agreement that was signed this year between the Reading Parking Authority and the city. Effective March 1st, 2021, the city of Reading and the Reading Parking Authority entered into a cooperation agreement where the Reading Parking Authority will make a payment to the city in the amount of $1,761,000. Although the city only budgeted $508,000 and $900 in revenue for this line item this year. As of July 31st, 2021, the city has collected $587,000 from the Reading Parking Authority due to the agreement. This amount reveals the payment from March through June of this year. Since this agreement was not concluded until this year, the 2020 budget should reflect a more accurate budget for this line item. This is my report for tonight, and I'm open for any question that you might have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Any comments or questions? Yes, go ahead, Melissa.
What's cable franchise fees?
The
Did you wanna
cable
give her-
franchise, that's the fee that the city received from the Comcast cable.
To operate their cable system in the city.
That's negotiated when we do the franchise agreement with Comcast.
It's every how many years?
The agreement that we're currently in is a 15-year, that expires, I think, at the end of next year.
Okay.
And the city received the revenue quarterly, so for the first 2 quarters, that's how much has been received. The city had collected $409,680.86. So we close to what we was budgeted, by the administration budgeted for 2021, revenue-wise.
John?
Just curious. So the cable company collects this from its customers?
Correct, from its cable subscriptions, not internet.
Gotcha. So our taxpayers are really the ones paying for this?
Yeah.
Right?
For those who use it, yeah.
For those ones.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to things like DirecTV or
Gotcha.
Netflix. and
So it's not like we're, right, so the cable company is already, they're gathering this money from its customers that are.
Yeah, based on the fact that we allow them to use the right of way to put their wires in.
Yeah, and just a note, if you look at your cable bill, if you do have that service, there will be a line item that says franchise fee on it.
Yes, that's the way it is. They collect the money and they send it to the city, yeah.
Right, any other questions for the auditor, comments? All right, if not, thank you, Maria, for the report. We are going to, we're going to move on to reports from our department directors, boards, authorities, and commissions. This evening, we have a very brief report from Jay Montgomery, and he's from the Plumbers Board. So Jay, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you for having me here for the report. Currently, we are, I believe, 1 member short, and we had a retirement, and the council sent out a commendation, to that member, and I appreciate that. He was a long-serving member of the plumbing board. I believe it was about 30 years, and we did have somebody already apply, and we are just waiting to have him sworn in. So I believe we're 1 member short of the board on the board, and we will get that filled shortly. We have quarterly testing. We've been doing pretty well with that. We've had 3 master plumbers this last testing, which was in July. And April, we had 7 journeymen and 3 masters again testing. And we will be reviewing the amendments, the plumbing amendments, because the state will be adopting the 2018 codes, ICC codes, and we will review our amendments, and this is when we can have some changes made with that.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Any questions for Jay? We appreciate all the hard work in the background. We know there's a lot that goes on that nobody ever hears about, but it's important. Plumbing, like electricity and everything else in the city, has to be well maintained, and it's important to everyone's safety and to our property value as well. So, any needs from us at this point?
I think we're good. We're doing the best we can. Larger workforce would be nice, but it's really gotten busy in here too with all the projects that are going on in the city. So we're working hard to keep the city moving forward.
Appreciate it, and thank you, Marcia, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment, Jay, because one of the things I know is a lot of people don't understand how the infrastructure works. They don't necessarily understand, for instance, if you flush something unacceptable down the toilet, what that does. And I don't know whether there's any education that could be done so people can better understand how these systems work and how to use them appropriately or not. I just see that happening in my neighborhood sometimes. Also a problem obviously with the storm sewers. Any thoughts on that?
No, I've talked to some people in the past about not maybe just for that issue, but for maybe any issue like zoning, starting a business. So if you want for how the system works, somebody, maybe we could create a PowerPoint or a short presentation on issues like that, how our systems work, what not to, and what you can put down a sewer system, and the importance of clean storm. And I said also, if you made a little PowerPoint that says, even for people buying new homes, not new homes, or buying a new home buyer, if we could educate them on that as well, I think, you know, a simple little PowerPoint on all those issues could be looked at by somebody.
Okay, Jay, thank you so much for the report. Again, we appreciate your time and your efforts, and we look forward to your ongoing success. So thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council members, we're going to move on to ordinances for final passage. The first ordinance is bill number 54-2021, amending the city code by adding a new chapter 433 public art, and to establish a process for the city to consider short-term public art projects that will effectively enliven neighborhoods and create outcomes such as safety, livability, walkability, health, and economic development in city neighborhoods. This was introduced at the June 28th regular meeting, advertised on July 5th, and subsequently tabled at the July 12th and July 26th regular meetings. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any comments? Marcia?
I want to offer an amendment, but I thought the author should first maybe just give a synopsis. I don't know.
Well, this is, you know, this is something we've been talking about at several meetings, and I want to credit Linda for working hard on this, and Johanny, you were part of the meetings that this really evolved from a request to end a crosswalk in the park area in Johanny's district. And rather than one small thing, it evolved into this legislation. And what it does, it doesn't censor art, it doesn't do anything that's prohibited, but it provides a way forward process that works with the artist or works with the group, from everything from murals to banners on light poles to crosswalks to art on sidewalks, to make it both sustainable and to have the creative group bear some responsibility for maintenance, including graffiti proofing, a mural per se, things like that. So thanks to everyone who worked on this, Linda, Johanny especially, thank you for your efforts.
Additional comments?
And if I may add, you know, it also allows for community engagement,
Yes,
community
exactly.
participation,
Exactly.
and community support. Yeah.
Any additional comments?
Yeah, I'd like to offer an amendment to this to be able to include Burke's Arts as an ex officio advisor to this group, so that if they can strengthen the efforts, because many of these projects, although short-term, have the potential for being long-term. Burke's Arts is the designated regional expert on art projects. So I believe by having them be an ex officio member, we can help move these projects ahead. So that I would like to offer that as an amendment.
So
Second?
approved, yeah.
Is that a second? All right, we have an amendment on the floor. Any comments on the amendment?
I'm comfortable with being ex officio. I wasn't comfortable if it was actually a member of the group because the group is internal to the whole, but I'm comfortable as an ex officio because many of us sit next to the city on our boards, authorities, commissions, and other entities. So I'm supportive of that.
All right, any other comments?
I just wanted to say that I did have a conversation with the director of Burke's Arts with Justin. He is fully understanding that that could be his role, and or whoever he might designate from the organization, So it really creates a lot of vibrancy and gives our artists basically a pat on the back for the good work that they're doing. If you have a local arts designee to be able to support their work.
All right, any other comments on the amendment? If not, Linda, can we have a roll call on the amendment, please?
Motion was made by Councilor Goodman Henderson, seconded by Councilor Zepeda Freitas, to amend Bill number 54, 2021 by adding Berks Arts Council as an ex officio member. Ms. Zepeda Freitas.
Yeah.
Ms. Goodman Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. Marmarin.
Yes.
Ms. Reed.
Yes.
Ms. Ventura.
Yes.
Mr. Walker, President.
Yes.
6 yeas. No nays.
All right, so the ordinance is on the table as amended. Any comments before we vote on the actual ordinance? Yep, Marcia?
And I just want to make a comment to keep things in perspective. Most of you are probably familiar with Keith Haring, who started out, first of all, came from Kutztown, Pennsylvania, started out as this type of artist, a street artist, doing things on walls, actually did a lot of work on subways, and now his works are worth in the multi-million dollars. So it shows how things can start at this grassroots level with people that have good talents and good intentions and can really take it to the next level. So I really see this as sort of being the seedbed for getting a lot of our local artists to have their work being visible. We have such talent in the city. So, you know, I really believe this is a starting point.
All right, any other comments? Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Councilor Reed, seconded by Councilor Goodman Henderson to enact Bill number 54 as amended. Ms. Goodman Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. Marmarin.
Yes.
Ms. Reed.
Yes.
Ms. Ventura.
Yes.
Ms. Zepeda Freitas.
Yes.
Mr. Walton, President.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
Our next ordinance is Bill number 60-2021, amending the City Code, Chapter 23, Boards and Commissions. Part 1201, Downtown Revitalization Public-Private Partnership, Section 23-201, authorization by replacing the DID chair with the City of Reading designated downtown coordinator. This was introduced at the July 26th regular meeting. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any comments? Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Councilor Marmarin, seconded by Councilor Reed to enact Bill number 60, 2021, which amends the downtown revitalization public-private partnership by replacing the DID chair with the city's designated downtown coordinator. Mr. Marmarin.
Yes.
Ms. Reed.
Yes.
Ms. Ventura.
Yes.
Ms. Zepeda Freitas.
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. Walton, President.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
And our final ordinance this evening is 61-2021, directing the Berks County Board of Elections to place a referendum question before city voters on the 2021 general election ballot, which would amend the City of Reading Home Rule Charter by eliminating the requirements of the city's Public Works Director to be an engineer. This was introduced at the July 26th regular meeting. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any comments?
After conferring with the administration, I'd asked this be put on the agenda for the voters to make a decision. Because if you look at the practices across the board with other municipalities, it's not a requirement to have the Director of Public Works have that specific degree, because there are other people with that capacity. So it's not like we're losing something. We just are a matter of making that a requirement. And indeed, if you look, sometimes we've been challenged to be able to find someone with that qualification, yet we very much need to ensure that we have a permanent Director of Public Works. So that was why I introduced it. I did speak with the Managing Director, Mr. Ambrose. I don't know if you have any comments at all.
No, I think that you handled it pretty well. This is going to be a question that's going to go before the voters in terms of a professional engineering license. And we've seen in other municipalities, especially around the Commonwealth, not have this requirement any longer because staff has the requirement. And this is something that's been in place for quite some time, but it allows the municipality to really cast a wide net in terms of having a public works director in place based on commensurate experience and ability. So we feel quite confident that this will progress forward, and we'll have a question put on the ballot for the voters this fall.
All right, any additional comments? If not, Linda, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion was made by Councilor Goodman Henderson, seconded by Councilor Reed, to enact Bill number 61, 2021, which places a referendum question before city voters regarding the elimination of the requirement for the city's public works director to be an engineer. Mr. Marmarin?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
Ms. Peter Freitas?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Walton?
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right, we have just one ordinance for introduction this evening. I'm going to ask the Councilwoman Marcia Goodman Henderson to please read it onto the record.
Okay, A, ordinance authorizing the transfer of $10,000 from the Reading beautification to the Public Works Sustainability and Solid Waste General Plan supplies to provide funds for cleanup graffiti supplies for city cleanups.
All right, thank you, Marcia. We don't have any resolutions this evening. So that brings us to our final order of business, and that would be council comments or any administrative comments that they would like to make. I will open up the floor. Does anybody have any comments this evening? We'll start with Pat and then Johanna. We'll work our way around. How's that?
So usually you hear complaints about people that are employed by the city. But I was so dumbfounded Friday. On Tuesday evening, when we had College Heights had their meeting up at the city park, our ice cream fest. This subject came up about trash and recycling, and Mr. Harity was there. And I wanted to ask him about trash and recycling, but he gave me so many facts. And that's when he said to me, "What happened to your knees?" I said, "I fell down the steps 3 times now." He said, "Yeah, you do have an incline up there." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, don't you you're entitled to have it picked up there." I said, he said, "I'm gonna fill out the paper," and he did. Well, come Friday, he said it'll be picked up Friday. Come Friday, they didn't pick it up, and when they picked up the other recycling, and I got scared. I called Linda, and she called Steve, and Steve says, "That's a separate pickup." About a half an hour after the original pickup goes by, a little truck comes by. And this gentleman, he was a Latino. What a wonderful man he was. He come up the steps, he says, "Don't you dare try taking this." He was having a problem taking it down. He said, "Don't you dare try to get this done again." And he took it down, dumped it, put it back up. But that man was so nice. And he was spotless. For having a job like that, he was spotless. He talked to you like a gentleman. And he was so thankful that I thanked him. He said, "I'll see you next week, sir." I said, "Okay." But you always hear complaints about the workers. Well, that man, he should be complimented for
Is that to our new trash system or
recycling.
recycling?
Yes. Yes. And he did a wonderful job.
I'm asking, is that to our new thing? Yes.
Harry,
Part of our recycling program.
Yeah,
That's
Were they-
universal for everybody. Yeah.
right, that's what I'm asking.
yeah,
Johanna?
So I just want to kind of congratulate the Gaga Works for receiving the grant and for their collaborative efforts with the community. I know in speaking with the executive director, shout out to Levi Landis, they're making a commitment to really be engaged and be an active participant and member of our community and being more aggressive with their outreach. So kudos to them. And on that same note, you know, I love when our community comes together because Gaga Works did partner up with Custom It Art and Fashions located on South 4th Street, Mr. Brad Waples, and they have Art the Block every Wednesday night from 5 to 7. It's a family-friendly, free event where Gaga Works and Mr. Waples, I mean, they provide easels, paint, brushes, music, and there's just a sidewalk full of people painting and being inspired, and I think that's so cool. And at some point, I know there'll be some display of the artwork created by our community members. So just wanted to shout it out, make the announcement, make sure that if you are looking for something to do with your family, Art the Block every Wednesday on South Fourth Street in front of, I believe it's 20 South Fourth Street.
Johanny, is that rain on? Do they
I'm
know
not
it's
sure
on?
what their
They've been
arrangements
lucky,
are.
the weather's been
They have
fabulous.
it. But there's music, art, I mean, it's just the dynamic is, you know, what's happening in our south side is phenomenal. So just wanted to give a shout out to our community members for being so resilient and creative during trying times.
Just another nod to National Night Out. I was there for Farm Alert, and then Marshall was there for her agency. Really packed with people, very kid-friendly event, very friendly everybody event. And certainly our first responders, fire and police were there in force, and just interacting with kids and with folks. And it was just nice to see 10th Street and full live people. So I look forward to next year, so hopefully it'll be even bigger. And again, those events are just like the artists in its context. National Night Outs are very important for people to get to know who it is that are there to protect and serve them on the first lines.
Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah, and to follow up with Donna, I had my hat on with my full-time job with the Council on Chemical Abuse, and it was a great event. It also, interestingly enough, helped us to intervene on some people that were having some substance use disorders that came up to the stand. And I'm not going to say anything more, but it was good that the people felt safe enough. And it really made me thankful for the relationship that we have with the Reading Police Department and doing street outreach and such to connect these folks. The thing that has me very excited, I'm actually having trouble sitting in my seat at this point, is that we have a kickoff this week for the Berks Jazz Fest. The pre-kickoff actually is going to happen at the Reading Liederkranz this Thursday night with what is called the Mount Penn Preservation Jazz Band, AKA David Klein and Company. So it is an event that we decided to have at the Liederkranz just to safely let more people in. We don't have the room at either of the city locations, the Reading Pagoda, the Fire Tower, but it's going to be a great event. So I welcome you to come, and it's being organized through the Mount Penn Council of Governments, which the city of Reading is part of. And then the whole Jazz Fest, with lots of people coming in from Berks County, will be starting the following day. And it's a real challenge to put on this type of festival, considering some of the COVID restrictions, but everything's going to be followed. We're going to have the most fantastic music, artists and such. So I hope to see you at the events to pass that on through your Facebook contacts and everything. We will both have the major concerts and also a lot of smaller concerts at different city venues. The major concerts, by the way, most of them are in Reading, either at the Doubletree or the Performing Arts Center. And then some of the other events are at some of our local restaurants like Peanut Bar. So that it's just a whole lot of slew. So I'm just ready to let myself enjoy it. I wasn't going to say what I really wanted to say, but I just love the Jazz Fest, and it's just been a great event. So I hope to see you all around, and all the people in our viewing audience, city administration. Reading and Berks County are renowned across the world for sponsoring a high quality jazz fest. And the reason I know that is I was fortunate to go on the Jazz Cruise, which is an international cruise, and people knew about the city of Reading through this. So it's one of our big promotions, and again, it's just a great event. So see you out there in the community.
All right, thank you, Marcia. Anybody from the administration have any comments they need to make at this time? If not, I'm just going to real quickly go over our meeting schedule. We have next Monday evening, August 16th, we have our nominations and appointments committee at 4 o'clock, followed up by our committee of the whole meeting at 5 o'clock. On August 23rd, we have a committee of the whole meeting at 5 o'clock, and we'll have our next regular business meeting immediately following that meeting. If there's no other order of business, we simply need a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
You're so excited, Jeff.
Yeah, I gotta get that. Granddaughter's